Hey, Luminous scholars. This is Shaelan from Luminous reporting in to walk you through how to calculate the fees associated with applying to law school, whether it's standardized fees such as applying for the LSAT and the CAS report, or those hidden fees that you may not have considered yet. Welcome to this episode of In the Know. All right, let's get started with the basics. First, you want to visit the LSAC website at www.lsac.org and click on the LSAT tab here. Here you can see test dates, deadlines, and score release dates, registration for the LSAT and CAS fees, which is where we'll spend a lot of our time during our discussion, as well as change or withdrawal dates for the LSAT. Now, the change or withdrawal dates, that's useful to know if you decide that you need more time to prepare for the LSAT, or you have life that happens, right? And you need to change the date from the one that you originally registered for. You can do that here. Now, I'd like to point out the score release dates. I think those are super important for you to note, especially if you're preparing for the current admission cycle. So when you see that the scores will be coming out, it's helpful to include that in your plan, your application plan, because you'll be able to determine if you can qualify for early admissions decisions. Now, early admissions decisions for most law schools require you to have all of your materials together, including your LSAT score, or you can participate in the standard admissions consideration cycle, or even later on. But I would prefer and recommend that all students consider not only the deadlines for when they need to register for the LSAT, but they also need to consider those score release dates so that they can have a realistic view of when you will actually be able to complete your application for admissions decisions. All right, so I just clicked on the LSAT and CAS fees. Now here you'll notice that there are two categories of fees. You have basic fees and auxiliary LSAT fees. To sit for the LSAT, you're going to pay $200 for each administration of the exam unless you have a waiver. Now, the CAS report, also known as the Credential Assembly Service, is a mecca where your law school application personal statement, LSAT scores, letters of recommendations, and other admission statements will live for each law school application you submit. That itself sits at a whopping $195. Thus far, you are looking at a $400 total investment. But wait, there's definitely more. This next option is indeed optional. It's the Law School Reports tab, okay? Law School Report, as you can see here. Now, this report will serve as a cover sheet for your credentials, such as your admission index, score reports, transcripts, and letters of recommendation. So it just serves as a cover sheet, and based upon what's been communicated to my team by the LSAC organization, this is optional. Now, those were just the basic fees. Next, you have the auxiliary fees. We'll click on August 2021 through June 2022, LSAT administrations. All right. Now, these fees are in addition to the basic fees we just looked at. To change your test date, there is no charge if you change that date through your administration's registration deadline. How will you know your deadline? They will give it to you. They will give it to you once you register for the exam. Now, if you change your test date up to 10 days after your registration's deadline, you'll be charged an additional $125 on top of the $200 that you've already paid to register for the LSAT itself. Yikes. But wait, there's more. if you change your testing date 11 days after your administration's registration deadline through the day before the testing begins, that's an additional $200. All right, that's an additional $200. The next fee, which I highly recommend you invest in if you are a first-time LSAT test taker, it is the score preview report. Okay, the score preview report. This report allows you to preview your LSAT score before deciding whether to keep it and have it reported to law schools. As I said, it's available to first-time test takers. I do recommend it because it eliminates unnecessary surprises and allows you to have some control over your law school journey. Now, these LSAC fees are not all that you have to consider when building your tower of fees. Remember that tower? You have law school applications, which cost about $60 to $100 per application. The average student will apply to 3 total law schools, so that's about $300 in itself. Next, there is test prep. Why spend all of this money to sit for this test if you're not going to adequately prepare for it? Now, the average student will spend about $800 to $1,200 on a commercial LSAT prep program. That doesn't even include personal one-on-one time with an LSAT tutor. That price may average between $100 to $125 per hour. Another growing trend that we're seeing in the marketplace is an increase of law school hopefuls paying for services like law school coaching, resume writing, and personal statement reviews. Those services can run students an average of $500 and up, depending upon the services chosen. Based upon research, this influx of coaching is a result of the law school admissions process becoming more competitive. Students are performing better on the LSAT in record numbers and are submitting stellar applications. If you were to count this tower of money, applying to law school during the registration cycle will cost you about $1,600 to $2,500. Now, if you're anything like me when I was growing up, this is an expensive process, and finding useful ways to save money is a priority. If you want to know how to save money during the law school process, download our free guide by following the link in the description. Not only will you get a free guide on how to save money in law school, but you'll also get information about the services my team and I have been offering since 2018 to help hundreds of pre-law students save money and get into law school successfully. So hit that link in the description of this video to learn more. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe before you go. We'll see you next time on In the Know.